Interesting TCM and Acupuncture. Part 25. Interesting diagnosis. Key points of diagnosis number 3. The 18 pulses commonly seen and 9 uncommon pulses. The 18 commonly seen pulses. Fumai, floating pulse. Chenmai, sinking pulse. Chirmai, slow pulse. Shuomai, rapid pulse. Huamai, slippery pulse. Somai, choppy pulse. Xumai, empty pulse. Shimai, full pulse. Changmai, long pulse. Duanmai, short pulse. Hongmai, flooding pulse. Ximai, thin pulse. Jinmai, tight pulse. Xuanmai, wiry pulse. Huanmai, moderate pulse. GMI, knotted pulse. Daimai, intermittent pulse. Tumai, hurried pulse. 9 uncommon pulses. Other pulses are related to the 18 mentioned above, so usually they're manifestations of the 18. Similar pulses compared. 3 types of thin pulse without strength compared. Soggy, minute, and frail pulse. Rumai, soggy pulse. Rumai, or soggy pulse, is floating and thin without strength and flexible. It belongs to the Fu floating pulse and has a thin shape, moving with little strength. Soggy pulse is softer than thin pulse and has no strength, especially near the exterior level between the Cao Li under the skin. Soggy pulse feels like a bubbling floating on top of water. It is often seen when yang qi is vacuous and in decline, and when qi and blood are vacuous. Wei mai, minute pulse. Minute pulse is extremely thin and soft. When pressing it, it seems like it's disappearing. Although it is present, it seems like there's nothing there. It's frequently seen in cases of severe qi and blood deficiency, or when yang qi has declined and become minute. Images of soggy and minute pulse to compare. Ruomai, frail pulse. Frail pulse is deep and thin, without strength, and soft. It's deep in nature, thin and not strong, normally seen in yang qi vacuity decline and qi and blood mutual vacuity. Frail pulse belongs to yin. 2. Comparison of 2 kinds of pulses in the inner hollow of the floating komai and hollow gemai leather pulse. Leather pulse is soft like a scallion. Floating pulse is soft like a scallion, but its interior is empty. When fire attacks the yang meridian, the blood seeps upward. When heat is full in yin collaterals, it flows down. A poem of categories. Its center is empty and its exterior is full. It's called hollow. It's large and floating and slow. Then it's called shu, or empty pulse. Hollow pulse, if presenting as wiry, is called leather. Hollow means there's a loss of blood. Leather means blood is vacuous. Location poem. If in Tun, hollow means blood is lost and the heart will palpitate. If in Guan, the hollow pulse will cause hemoptysis and hematesis. Gemai, leather pulse. Leather pulse is wiry and hollow combined. It seems like its exterior is tight, but its interior is empty when pressed deeply. It's often seen when blood is deeply lost. There's loss of essence, miscarriage, or leaking, and it belongs to yin. Extremely deep pulses have 2 types, hidden and confined. Fumai, hidden pulse. Hidden pulse is a deep pulse which requires great pressure to be able to feel. Since the pulse directly runs on top of the bone, if there is heavy hidden pulse, there must be cold trapped within. If it's weak, it indicates yang vacuity. Hidden pulse belongs to yin. Laomai, confined pulse. Confined pulse is deep and long. It can be excess and wiry. It's often seen in cases of yin cold flourishing internally, hernia accumulation, and excess conditions. It is yang in the center of yin. 4. Short, slippery, and fast together belong to dongmai, or bean moving pulse. Dongmai, spinning bean or moving pulse. Bean moving pulse is short, slippery, and fast. It's especially obvious in the Guan position. It seems like pressing a small bean which is moving. It's usually seen in cases of shock and pain. It is a yang pulse. These 9 pulses are not commonly seen and have important differences that should be memorized. 1, scattered and soggy, frail and minute, have important differences. What they have in common is they're all vacuity pulses. Individual characteristics. Scattered, soggy belong to floating pulse. Scattered pulse seems like floating and scattered without root. It may be fast and uneven. Soft, soggy pulse is floating, thin and soft. Frail and minute, and it belongs to deep. Frail is deep, thin, and soft. Minute pulse, when touching it, feels like something is there, but it also feels like nothing is there. Hidden and constricted are both deep, but hidden, which is found when pressing between the tendons of bones, comes from pathogens trapped in the body, extreme pain or loss of consciousness. Constricted pulse is deep, thready, long, and excess. It's related to yin, cold, collecting within, and is large and excess. It's related to tumors. 3, moving or bean pulse is slippery, fast, has strength, and is only seen in the guan position. It's related to pain and shock. Explanation. These are the pulses seen during illness. Thanks for watching.